The thing that I love, and I'm sure many people do, is the community here. The people here are wonderful. I mean, it's just that kind of place you want to show up because everybody's here and everybody's warm and loving, and that's why you come.
Community. I think that's the biggest thing. And we have fun. You cannot do anything around here without having fun. And I mean fun in the greatest sense. I mean finding joy in what we are doing, even in the most difficult times.
Palm Sunday and Easter Sunday, when we have Robert Robinson. And if you notice the choir, look closely. Most of us don't wear mascara that day because some of the songs are so emotional. The tears are streaming down people's cheeks. And of course that happens with the people in the chairs as well.
I think the parish has adapted quite nicely to changing times, and it's really heartening to hear that we have so many young people involved now.
And I think what happens is that people come here and they are in that mind, but then when they see what it's like, they decide that they'll stay.
One of the reasons we liked to volunteer so much was because it was such a wonderful experience on Sunday, and we wanted it to last. We wanted to spend more time involved in church activities and not just that hour on Sunday.
Is that I think sometimes we can delude ourselves if we do too much of aren't we great? And so it's kind of a paradox to be able to celebrate who we are and to be able to really grow with it and know that it's there to nurture us into the world. It's not to just nurture us into Joan of Arc. That's my fear.
The difference here at St. Joan is that our staff has a different attitude than most places. And instead of the ideas coming from the top down, it always seems as though it's from the bottom up.
My first 3 weeks, I sat in the back and wept. Just wept. That there was something like this in the world. That there was a Catholic church that accepted people wherever they were, that had joyous music, that had camaraderie.
Actually on Mother's Day on 1970, and we decided to come and try it, and we've been here ever since.
I walked in the door and they handed me a flower, and I looked at Jim and I said, I think this is home. And it has been for 40-some years.
A place to belong. So we need to make sure that we have a place for all ages to belong at Joan of Arc.
One of my all-time favorite memories was when Archbishop Roach came to speak at St. John's. And anytime we get a visit from an outside priest, you never know what's going to happen, which is so that in itself is exciting. And I remember we wanted to hear his message, and people were kind of sitting thinking, what are we going to hear? What's he going to say? And the first thing he said when he got up is he said, I believe that if Jesus was alive today, he would start a parish like St. Joan of Arc.
I remember a Sunday in the gym when we had first started coming here, and George Wharton said, just in the middle of a homily, your salvation is assured, now live. And it was one of the most freeing things.
Each time I'm here, I'm aware of the young families and all of the children and the new babies that we're baptizing. I call it our feeder system.
There was historically such a focus on the gym community and everything. Joan of Arc, what happened in the gym was what Joan of Arc was. And I've seen a vast, and I mean this in a good way, explosion of emphasis and activity taking us beyond our parish. We literally at this point put our arms around the world.
Joan of Arc has a future, you know, because I think it has an important place in this local church of St. Paul, Minneapolis, of being that place where people can just come and find a spiritual home.
How do you connect it to the bigger church and not lose the flavor that it has as being a progressive type of a Catholic church? And it's hard times for that right now.
St. Joan of Arc seemed to me to be something completely different when I got to know it from what I'd heard about it. And when people asked me questions, they were challenging questions, they were difficult questions. Already they were questions about who was to do ministry in my book. and what was the role of women in the church. And that was very vital in those days.
The community spirit I feel when we hold hands and at the Our Father and all of a sudden we're doing like this. When that happened to me when I first came here, I started to cry.
92 years old, I can't remember.
It was wonderful. All the children here went to St. Joan of Arc, the school too, and the spirituality, the community, the togetherness of St. Joan of Arc, the chimes ringing at 5 o'clock. We all knew what time it was, 5 o'clock straight.
It's really different than any other church that I've been to. You know, it's really high-spirited, and especially like Christmas Mass. It is, oh my goodness, it's like the most cheerful Mass I've ever been to, and it's really nice and refreshing to come to this church.
I used to belong to a much more conservative parish. I was looking for people that were more in line with what I believe about God, creation.
All are welcome here, and I think people should know that it's a Catholic and a universal sense of community. Not, you know, in a small C, but in a big heart way. So.
We want to have Nora be a part of the church and community, and set a good example for her early on.
Being a member of St. Joan of Arc is important to me, primarily around the social justice component and having a community that really supports the care for the entire world, for all of creation.
Participating in peace marches along with other St. Joan of Arc members, both within Minneapolis as well as when we went to Washington, D.C. to be a voice for peace.
It's more an atmosphere at the 5 o'clock Saturday Mass. It is a very reflective crowd, a very tranquil crowd. It's very different from what you get on Sunday mornings.
I would just keep doing what you're doing, and I'm so glad someone else is doing it. That's the best part. In this parish, there's somebody to take over when you're ready to retire. And so many organizations, you just wonder what's going to happen to them. So,
the social justice work that's done here, and just the spirit of community, and community means a lot to me.
I am so touched and moved by the sense of community that we have for each other and the world at large, both in our neighborhood and in a larger neighborhood. But really that sense of commitment to social justice really touches me.
It makes me cry. My 2 children have gone through cancer. It was difficult. And I could sit here in the back and weep and have people put their arms around me without any questions and saying it's going to be okay. And it was. It turned out okay. And only at St. John's. You weren't ignored. You weren't given Kleenex and quietly. They just didn't ask what was wrong, just knew something was and put their arms around me, and that's St. John's.
I met my wife through the singles group here, so yeah. So I guess, yeah, that would be a special moment.
Space where my kids can grow and discover God in the company of other children. It's the blessed community. It's the beloved community of children who get to know God in a special way here, in a child-centered way here.
Decided it was the best place to really nurture my spirituality and bring up my child. And just thought that this is really the lessons that I felt were very important to me in my life, and it was the community here that helped nurture that and helped me bring my daughter up. And now we have 3 generations.
It's actually my first time here, and I like the diversity in the congregation, and I like the message from the priest, and I like the family message that we just got. So.
Family Mass in particular is important to me because it includes all ages and all stages. And when we first started coming here, Bridget here was a brand new baby, and we could be in this space with little kids, and they were welcome and included, and their boisterous aliveness was welcome and blessed in the Family Mass.
I started coming here as a very young adult, and for me, I grew up in a really conservative Catholic family, and I came here and it was the days of Harvey Egan, and I had never seen anything quite like it, and I never stopped coming.
We need to have St. Joan of Arc to give hope to people and to let them know that the church is really for the people.
The whole music ministry just wows us every time we're here. We just feel very uplifted. And when the whole choir is here, it's just a force to be reckoned with, you know. I feel like we're storming the gates of heaven with the music.
First time I came, Sunday after 9/11. Didn't know where else why I would go because I didn't know what else I'd hear. So my cousin and I came here. And after that week of hysteria, I walk in and there's people talking about peace.
I like coming to St. Joan of Arc and being a member here because every week I can come and I see a lot of the same people, but then I also get to experience meeting everyone who's new and everyone who's just discovering how amazing it is.
Joan of Arc, I believe, sets an example of trying to live the gospel in the world, and we can't do enough of it.
Father de Broeker was talking about how he became a priest and how it was so non-traditional. It just made me laugh and made me realize that he's really one of us, very much so.
What I like about Joan of Arc, it takes music from the so-called secular and makes it holy, and then we take that with us in the world.
I like the cookies. Sometimes I get to do the welcoming, and that's really fun.
The misunderstandings, the feebleness, the violence in the human family. I can weep for violence wherever it is, and it's growing, it seems, almost every day. And yet I can find a little snippet of hope. I've sifted the wheat from the chaff, and I found the wheat, our kind of progressive Christianity. And we just hold on to it and be nourished by it and search for ways to bring it to other people.
We live in love and sing from our hearts, from sadness to joy, from wherever we are.